everyone, my name is Dorcas Mutsunrayo Taiwo and you're welcome to EDUGIST Podcast. Today on the show, we're going to be talking to Kemi Anifowoshe. She is the communication person for Shikan Nigeria and Education Advancement Support Services. Today, she's going to be sharing with us our transition journey from the sciences because Kemi finished from the Department of Cell Biology Genetics and she's currently working with communications brand across the world. So today she's going to be telling us how she transitioned from that interest, what were the setbacks she had, and how that has been so far. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. So yes, I wouldn't want to put you on the spot by asking you the movie question, but can you tell us what was the major point in your life that everything changed for you? Sometime as far back as you can remember, when did you think everything changed for you as regards to the decision you made concerning what you're doing currently, or what informed what you're doing currently, or where did you notice that the interest came from?
Okay, I'll say I had two major turning points for me. I was a science student, and being very intelligent. We went for a program in my secondary school and they chose a few of us. But I discovered that while we were there, it was an IT program actually, but we had different departments. There was people in media, there were people in different departments. But I just knew that there was something about the media that I loved. I loved the communication, coming to talk. So I had always wanted to be a medical doctor. But I just knew that this is something I love. I just do it effortlessly. I would like to do this. So I was in JSS3 then. Okay. And I've thought I would have just moved to art class when I went back to school. But because Kemi is very smart now, she should be a science student. Yeah. And my parents also wanted me to be a medical doctor. So they tried all their best. So I went to science class. But I knew that I was just in science class. But I knew I had a passion for communications. So even my physics teacher would say, this girl is like, you be an actress. Because I was very smart, but she just knew that this one is not a product of science. Like I didn't have all of those science things. So I think that was one time the passion came for me. The other time was when I finished my NYSC, I worked in a place, I had to resign abruptly because I knew this thing is not it. So I decided to now journey because I went to science. I did sciences in the university. I just knew that this is not me. So after I finished, I decided to just resign. That Kemi, you have to face what you want. So not because I had any opportunity anywhere or had any experience. I just said, it's time for me to gather this experience. If I want to get to where I'm going to, I need to start small and I need to just take the bull by the horn. So I resigned and I started, So those are the two major turning points for me as regards what I do at the moment.
Okay, so if you could change something about that moment, what would you change?
Okay, maybe I would have voiced what I wanted to do earlier enough. Because until I was done with my university, I didn't tell my parents I liked communication. So when I finished, my mother was like, because he used to watch your views, this Mariah Brown and all of that. That can be very articulate, so you'll be very good doing this. And I was like, if I'd known, I would have just told them that I want to do mass commo and they would have allowed me. But I didn't tell them until I was done. So probably I should have mentioned or spoken to my counselor that this is what I want to do instead of just
assuming that they will not agree.
Yeah, yes.
Wow, that's actually interesting. So during your transition period, what were the things that really helped you? Because I know that a lot of people are doing what they do not have the boldness to say they want to quit whatever job they're doing currently. I have people that I've met that they had to do that same job for like 25 years and then it was when they were older, they now realized that maybe I shouldn't have done this earlier. So what do you think helped you with your own transition phase?
Okay, for me, what helped me was that first, I knew where I was going to. Despite the fact that I was in science class, I did labs. I just couldn't picture my life in the lab. I couldn't see myself wearing lab coats, no matter how I tried my best. So what helped me majorly was that, I'm a believer and I know that God always inspires our hearts. It's crazy to just resign. It was not because I had anything to do. I didn't have any money, in fact. But I just knew that this is what God will have me do now. Kemi, take the bull by the horn. The more I stay there, the more difficult it becomes for me to transition or just move to what I want to do. So, and I had a group of people around me that just kept on, okay, this thing, they even saw it. They saw it even than myself, that this thing you are doing is not supposed to be for you. And I think the voices of those people combined with my own voice just amplified it. And I was just able to take that decision that I'm going to do this. I don't know where I'm going to start from, but I'm going to do this. So I think that was one major thing that helped me to transition.
Okay, so what were the setbacks you faced in this period of making that choice, and how did you think you were able to surmount it? How were you able to deal with it?
Setback is...
With S. Setback with S.
The truth is, resigning without having I had a direction, but I didn't have a vehicle carrying me.
Word. I'm a director and I'm a vehicle.
It wasn't as though I was going to resign and I had exactly, or I knew what I wanted to do. I don't have anything. I didn't know anybody. So one major setback for me was that I just resigned. I didn't have it all figured out. I just thought, though it's a huge step to just do that, but I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to reach out to. So one major setback is, even though you have to take those decisions, somehow have a vehicle driving you so that you don't just wait at home. But God being merciful, I didn't have to wait for so long. Another thing is that because I didn't have any experience, I've never done anything that had to do with communication. I had to start from the bottom, like the bottom of the bottom. It was as though I literally begged that, please, let me just do this job for you. And even if you not pay me money,
I will collect it later.
Anything you want to pay me, I'm going to take it. So it was like I had to leave what I was doing. I was paying me, at least when I just finished service, it was paying me. Yeah, it was setting that, okay, at least every month I'll get this payment. And it could foot my bills, to something that cannot foot my bills. I had to start from the bottom, and when I started again, I had to learn. One thing is, even if you see, I like communications. If you don't enter that communication, you don't know whether you like the communication, you don't like the communication. So I discovered that, yes, I like the glamour, but you see the intricacies of that communication. So I had to tell you, Kemi, do you want to do this thing or you don't want to do it? So it was a test for, do you just like the glamour that comes with it? Or do you really want to do the work? So I think the setback was actually the financial part, seeing that my mates had finished, that we finished together, they had gone forward. Some of them were probably getting some amount of money as per salary, and me, I started with, I think, 40,000 or something. Is it 40 or 30,000? A graduate like me, because I wanted to do communication, but I was willing to take the money because after this is what I want to do. So just give me that vehicle. Let me learn. By the time I'm getting my next job, I will have learned something very much and it will help me. So I think those were the major setbacks I had.
Okay. So there's this age-long debate, which is from conversation we just had about, follow your passion, follow your profit. If you were to tilt to a side, to pick a side between following passion and profit, which side would you pick and why? I knew you were going to ask me this question. Okay. See, I'm a bit complicated because, yes, I love communications a lot. It's a career I would like to follow through. However, I have a passion that is not communication. Okay.
I have a passion. I love this, anything that has to do with mental health.
Okay.
I love being a psychologist. Something I really just like when I look at them, having to talk to people and they can bring out words from their mouth. I love it. I don't see communications, but it's not the mass media communication.
Yes.
So I was unable to figure out whether I just said I like communication. So when they were giving me PR to say, hey, this PR is not what I really like. Oh, why are you giving me PR and this thing like this, So, but then what I would say is that I'm currently doing communications, like the intricacies of communications. But I learned from somebody that even if you have a passion and you have, you have a career that is not really in line with your passion, sometimes your passion will not give you money in your pocket. So what I've learned is, as much as I would like to maybe eventually be like a psychologist, have a show for people like still communications, but I've discovered that this thing at the moment, if I start it, there's no way it's going to generate income for me. So I am doing the career part of it so that when I grow, I'm able to get to the peak of this career. I can resign. I know I've been able to focus on my passion. Okay. So for me, if your passion is not one for me that would bring in income at the moment, because you have to feed your family, you have to live up to expectation of not expectation part, but you have to live, you're able to do a few things. Yeah. If you know your passion cannot afford you that affluence at the moment, and you have a job, I would say, and it's not toxic, still keep on doing it. At least but your passion is still in your mind. For every time I'm working. Okay, one thing I did is, while I was working with my other organization, I was doing marketing communications, and I knew that I really don't want to do this. It was communications, but I don't want to do this. Is not the part of communication I wanted. What did I do again? I resigned.
Without a job.
Without
a job in view. Wow.
Well, maybe because I know that God always backs me up because of, I'm a believer, and I just feel like even if I make a mistake, God always has a way of still just bringing me back in line. So what did I do? I started working for an NGO, but I started doing their communications parts. So NGO is sort of my passion.
Yes.
I'm doing communications in the NGO, such that I'm around my passion and I'm also building my career. Yeah. Do you understand? So I'm getting paid for what I do, and when we're doing projects, I fulfill that passion. So I will say that don't just sit doing passion. Of course, some people have done that, but still look for something doing that will give you one means of income or the other.
Okay. So if you were to advise somebody now out of school, would you advise them to go the same route you went through? Or what would you tell them to do differently? Someone out of school or still in school, maybe they even want to drop out because they're like, sorry, I'm studying English and English is not connected to what I want to do. What would you tell them to do differently? Or would you say, just do it the same way I did, keep resigning and resigning and resigning?
Well, I won't say you should keep resigning because, one thing it does, my CV now, sometimes I have to, oh my God, would they receive me in this place? Because I resign. Will she stay? Because it doesn't assure the HR people employer. That you won't just leave abruptly. So that's not a very good way to do it. However, I would say that regardless of what you are doing, I'm an advocate of school is not a scam. If you go to school, even if you study Yoruba education in school, do it and do it excellently. I didn't like what I was doing. I was a science. I didn't really like. I did cell biology and genetics in school. But I came out at least excellently. So I'm an advocate of do it and do it well. When you are done, you know that, I always say that such that when they ask me that, when they're saying people that had a first class or people that have 2-1, bring your certificate. If for whatever reason, I won't say if I had known, I wouldn't have done it. So I try my best to do everything I want to do, whether I love it or I don't love it, excellently. So I advise that go to school, don't drop out, finish, have a certificate. You do not know where that certificate might be needed. You don't know where it might be asked for. So, and one thing that puts you above other people might be the certificate you have.
Okay.
You might want to get a grant. I don't have a certificate, you have a certificate. We know this job together. Let's want to make up or something. And one of the criteria they're asking for is a BSc certificate. So am I going to go back now because I didn't finish? So I advise that you finish, and no knowledge is wasted.
True.
For every time you learn, whatever you learned in school, no matter how ambiguous it is, you don't understand it, a time will come when you will need it. It might just be something that you've learned in school. So beyond the 4 walls of school, the knowledge you get from school cannot be trivialized. So go to school, finish it, then you can still chase your passion.
Okay, thank you. So let's say a multiverse exists, that there's a younger Kemi somewhere that is 10 years old and has not made any decision yet. I want you to look in the camera and talk to younger Kemi and give her a few words of advice.
Okay, Kemi. I think you should don't be scared. Be bold. You really don't have to please everybody. Yes, you are smart, you're very intelligent, but if you know what you want, be vocal about what you want. Don't be a people pleaser. Because if you see this big Kemi now, if she had known, she wouldn't have pleased all her teachers because they wanted her to be in science class. So go for what you want and always ensure that you are excellent at everything you do. So don't be a people pleaser. That's what I'm going to say to Kemi. Don't be a people pleaser.
I hope the 10-year-olds that are watching this video can take a cue from that. So yes, now to the fun part of the interview. I have a few random questions I would like to ask you. First one, what was the name of your primary school teacher? Primary one teacher?
I can't remember, but there is a particular anti-part. I went to Nigerian Model Nursery and Primary School.
Okay.
I can't remember the name properly, but there's a teacher I can never forget, Auntie Pat. She's very light-skinned. So I don't know if it was maybe KG or I don't know. I always remember her name.
Auntie Pat, wherever you are, if you are still alive, big shout out to you. Okay, so what's the best advice you've gotten from anybody?
I've gotten a lot of advices from people, but there are two advices that have stuck to me. It's a Yoruba advice. It says, why in
Okay.
That is, surround yourself with great-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also discovered that many of the daring decisions I've made were because I've seen people make such decisions too. And I've seen that it had helped them. Of course, there were times where they had some issues, but if the people that you work with, you surround yourself with, would influence you. Mm-hmm. So they say that great minds think alike. Seldom fools too, they think alike.
Yeah.
So if you want to know if you are a foolish person or you are wise,
check around.
Look at the people that you align yourself with. The other advice I read it recently is that maximize the elevator moment.
Okay.
So the scenario was that if you were in an elevator with Elon Musk, he's going to the 10th floor. You have basically 2 minutes with him. Within those 2 minutes,
what impression are you
leaving? If you have to talk to him in those 2 minutes, are you going to take a selfie with him? Are you going to have your pitch, like know what you want to say already, practice it over and over, because your opportunities might not have all the time for the opportunities. It might be just that elevator moment. So give him an impression that he will always remember there is a Kemi somewhere. So don't make a mess of it. Don't see celebrities or see people that you have longed to see. And the first thing you tell them is, can I have a selfie for what? So within those 2 minutes, give an impression that they can never forget. And one thing I've also learned is that if I have the opportunity of having a very top class person on my contacts, I don't send stupid BCs to them.
Yeah, there's that.
So that
when I
finally need their help, it's not that this girl only BC, this BC girl. You get? And I am always very careful about my status. If I have a top class, if I want to play on my status, I would deliberately not allow that person to see, because there is an image I want to portray for this person. So it doesn't see me in a light that is not the truth.
Okay, so a reverse. What's the worst advice that you've gotten from somebody?
Worst advice.
Think.
It's not related to education at all, but it's just
matter?
I think when I was quite younger, or when I was in university, I used to have menstrual pain a lot. And the advice was, because I don't have regular sex.
That's
why I have menstrual pain. So it was an advice for me to
go out
there and launch into the deep. So I think that's what I comes to my head.
Please to clarify, does menstrual pain and sex have anything to do with each other?
Absolutely not.
Thank you very much. So please, quotes are anywhere and quotes me anywhere. All right. Do you have any final words before we wrap up?
Final words. I think I already mentioned this, that education is not a scam. Mm-hmm. At no point, even if you don't eventually do what you don't work with what you learned in school, a time is coming where what you have learned will come in handy. And always look at what puts you at the edge. If they call 100 people to the room, what is that additional value I'm going to give? What sets me apart? What puts me ahead? So we are all makeup artists. How are you getting better? What extra thing do you have? Like the scripture will say that when all the virgins, they were all virgins, and I'm sure they had oil in their lamps. All of them had oil. But when the oil finished, those that had extra oil were the ones that were able to see. So what extra oil do you have? Are you just a makeup artist? Are you just whatever you do? I don't know, I'm a makeup artist. Whatever you do, what extra thing do you add to it? What value are you adding? When they are downsizing your organization, are you one that they will say, let's tell Kemi to go? What is that extra thing you are adding? So aside going to school, aside learning a skill, aside doing all the certifications in the world, what is the extra value you are bringing to the table? I think that extra thing you have is what will set you apart.
One powerful thing that Kemi said that really stuck with me today was she said that excellence is a culture, and you don't need motivation to be excellent. Yes, you can do what you're interested in doing, but even in times where you're not interested, the true test of whether you're excellent or not is the fact that you can show up and pull your weight even in things that you're not so interested in it. So go this week and be excellent. See you next week. Don't forget to catch up with us on all our social media platforms. They'll be displayed on the screen. Bye.